Hello, FCS parents. All right, it's Thursday, another Thursday Thoughts. This one's coming to you a little later than usual. That's because it's been a pretty busy day today. We were actually visited by Liberty Christian School today. They're up in Redding, and they just started using Ignitia this year. So they've got a steep learning curve in terms of how to use Ignitia, how to incorporate it into all their classes. And so we had a couple of their high school teachers here and one of their elementary teachers here. We also had their principal and office manager here as well. So I got to sit down with them this morning, talk through a little bit of the basics of Ignitia, how we incorporate it with our own philosophies here at Fairfield Christian School. Then I sent them to some classrooms and they got to observe some teachers using Ignitia in the classroom. And then we came back together. They actually came and observed my middle school Bible class. And once that was over, we again got to sit down, and after they had observed several teachers using it, we got to talk out how they could possibly use it in the classroom. And there are lots of tips and tricks in Ignitia. If you just were simply to use Ignitia straightforward as it comes online, I could see how it could be a little bit difficult to use. But we've obviously used it for a long time. We know all the backdoor tricks of how to reschedule the lessons, how to make custom lessons, make custom courses, how to assign those, how to divide your year into semesters and categorize various items within Ignitia. So I taught them a lot of those tips and tricks today, and hopefully they came away with their eyes open a little bit about some of the possibilities about how they can use Ignitia in their school. One of the biggest takeaways I took from today was as they were sitting in my classroom watching my middle school class, they had some very quizzical looks on their face as we're going through class. And once the class left, one of the questions they asked me was, how did you get your kids to behave like that? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, they were so attentive. When they had a question, they raised their hand. When you asked them questions, they answered. You guys had discussions in the classroom, but it was always very respectful, and the kids were very good. And you know, as some of our staff, we were all talking about that later on, it really is a great reflection on our kids. And you know, me in particular and some of our other teachers, sometimes we're hard on the kids because we have high expectations for them. But it's good to know that when other people come in, they see well-behaved kids that want to learn, that are engaging with the material. And that was nice to hear about our kids. We tend to think of our kids as, you know, being kids, and as all kids, they all screw up sometimes. We all screw up sometimes. And sometimes we tend to focus on those things that they need to improve instead of looking at the things that they have already improved. And so it just made me kind of take a step back today, take a look at the kids and think, you know, these kids have come an awful long way. These are great kids. Do they still have a long way to go? Of course, we all do. All of us can still grow and mature and become better and more like Christ every single day. But it's also good to realize where we've come, and so it was kind of a check for me today to kind of step back and say, you know what, our kids are doing great. They do have a room to improve, but they've come a long way already. So it just made me proud to be the principal of the kids here at the school, and so it was a great day. But that's why this Thursday Thoughts is coming a little bit to you a little bit later. But it was a great day spending time with those people from Liberty Christian School. The longer I'm here in this position, the more people I meet, the more schools I connect with, the more principals I get connected with, the bigger our network grows. We're probably going to invite Liberty Christian School to our in-service in January. We'll have 4 Christian schools there between Monterey Christian School, Fairfield, Natomas, and then Liberty. And we want to grow our network even more. All 4 of these schools use Ignitia. There are other Christian schools around here that use Ignitia as well. And it's important that we make those connections. We can help each other out. We can support one another. You know, very simply in prayer. We can lift one another up in prayer all the time. But there's also practical things. You know, if I've got an issue and I don't know really how to work through that issue, I can call up Tom Adams at Liberty Christian School. I can call up Kelvin Jackson in Natomas. I can call up Jacob Voice down in Monterey. And together we can work out problems, figure out fixes to the various problems we have going on. So it's great to make connections with lots of people, as it is with any industry. And in education, the fact that we're in Christian education, just the fact that we're meeting other Christians that are in the same field and industry as us, it helps to support us and give us faith that there are other people out there doing the same thing we're doing, loving kids, introducing them to God, building their biblical foundation, and then getting them ready to be set out into the world. So, a great day today, spending time with other Christian educators. All right, we've got some things on the calendar, including tomorrow. Tomorrow is November 10th, and while Veterans Day is officially on the 11th, we're observing that tomorrow on the 10th. So remember, no school tomorrow Friday, November 10th, we were observing Veterans Day. And last Friday in chapel, we did talk to the kids about what Veterans Day is all about. Not everybody knows it used to be called Armistice Day, and it's because it was the day that the treaty was signed at the end of World War I. We did let the kids know about that, so you can quiz your own kids and ask them if they remember what the original name for Veterans Day was. And I encourage the kids as well to make sure to go find a veteran and thank them over the weekend. There are people that have volunteered to protect the safety of our country. And so we want to give respect to those. First of all, we should give respect to those veterans every day, but in particular on Veterans Day, we want to say thank you. If you get a chance, Fairfield has a parade, Veterans Day parade. It starts at 12:30 on Texas Street. Go down there and support the veterans, watch the parade. I usually go every year. It's usually a fun time. I get to see lots of people attend the parade. You get to see lots of friends there, and you have a good time watching things roll by. Community members in the parade. Sometimes the last parade I went to, they had some tanks rolling by. That was pretty cool. So find a way to support a veteran and say thanks throughout. Thanks for all their efforts, all their sacrifices they've made in order to protect our country. And then we have one more week of school coming up next week, and then we've got Thanksgiving break. So it's coming up very quickly. And then after that, a few more weeks. Then we got finals, and then we end the first semester. Also remember, December 8th, make sure that is on your calendar. That is our Christmas variety show. Make sure you have that date saved. I know the kids are working on their acts, and it's going to be pretty fun and exciting. I know what a few classes are doing. Sounds pretty awesome. I can't wait to see what the rest of the classes are doing and get a sneak peek before we get going. But you'll be hearing more information about that in our emails. I'll be talking about it more through Thursday Thoughts in the next few weeks. But make sure you save that date, December 8th, for our Christmas variety show. All right, we got a 3-day weekend coming up. I got to figure out how I'm going to spend some of my extra time. I'm probably going to spend an extra time reading and writing papers for my own classes that I'm taking right now. So a little extra time to do some homework this week with that 3-day weekend. But I hope you guys, as a family, get a chance to relax. Hope your kids get a chance to get a small break at least from school. Get a mental break, and then we'll again come back for a week, and then they'll get a whole week off. So they'll get a big mental break here coming up. But I hope to see you guys real soon. As always, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, please give us a call here in the office. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. I hope you guys have a great 3D weekend. See you soon. God bless.